Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Journey to Homeownership with the Golden State Finance Authority on the Power Is Now TV network. My name is Eric Frazier, and I'm the President and CEO of the Power Is Now, and it is an honor and a privilege to work with Carolyn Sunseri, the Marketing Director of the Golden State Finance Authority, to talk about homeownership and to work with them in helping people become homeowners every single day. Carolyn, thank you so much for your partnership with the Power Is Now Media and getting the word out about the Golden State Finance Authority programs.
Thank you, Eric. It's such a pleasure to be a part of this new series that we've created. I love hearing the stories from individual people and families as they share their specific journey to home ownership. There's ways that you and I can talk about the impact of down payment assistance and achieving that dream of home ownership. But when you actually get to talk to people and hear their stories, hear their challenges, hear their journey, it just is invaluable. And so I'm really pleased with this new video series we have out. I'm excited about today's guest, and this is going to be a great interview. This is episode 3 of 2022's Journey to Homeownership video series from the Golden State Finance Authority. Tonja Daniels is our guest today. I'd like to welcome her to the show. After some major life changes, including a career change, she took a leap of faith and she started her journey to homeownership. In April 2020, she purchased a home in sunny San Diego with down payment and closing cost assistance through Golden State Finance Authority. So Tonja, welcome to our show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
So Tonja, let's first start out by you telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're originally from, where you currently live, and what you do for a living.
Well, you heard my name is Tonja Daniels. I am originally I'm actually a Cleveland native. My parents picked up and moved out here like hippies back in the 80s and decided that this is the place they want to be. I got my motivation for home ownership from them. They've owned 7 homes in their lifetime. So yeah, I live in San Diego now, and I'm so grateful to be here. You know, just enjoying the sun, enjoying I live close to the beach, so I get to go periodically. It's just the quality of life. You know, it's my own space in the world, and it's just something that I didn't think that I would ever have an opportunity to do. So it's a little bit about me, man, and it definitely has been an amazing journey that I took, you know.
Mm-hmm. So what do you actually do for work? Because that's a big part of our life too. Just give us a little bit of background.
Okay, so the background is I actually started off as a graphic designer years ago. That was my career that I first went to school for, made a career change. And that's part of what I want to share with people is that sometimes, you know, life happens in seasons and you need to continuously be in a place where you're working on that next thing. You know, keep your brain sharp, keep your mind sharp so that you can be ready for the different seasons of your life. And so what I did is I changed, I work in quality for a government contractor. It was a career change. And it's something that I was afraid to do, but I stepped out and did it anyway. I got over my fear and decided I was going to go ahead and accept the challenge of doing something different. And because I did that, it helped to put me in a much better position.
So career change is a really big life-changing event. Was that the catalyst to buying a home, or, you know, what started you on the idea of owning your own property?
Well, I've always wanted to, you know, as my parents, like I said, own 7 properties. So I've always wanted to do it. But because of the career that I was in, I just didn't see that there was really a way for me to get there. It just seemed like, you know, I've got to do something different. And the catalyst that caused me to do it was I had been going through just, you know, being at the same place for a long time. And I was like, you know what, I'm never going to reach my dreams if I don't choose to do something different, if I don't make the decision to try something different. So once I was able to make the shift, then I began to see my dreams come to pass. So I did a whole entire career shift. And the catalyst was doing that career shift, because as I started to do that career shift and I saw my income changing, I was like, you know what, maybe this is possible. You know, so I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. There's an opportunity, I bet, that I'm missing if I don't, do it. So I'm going to get out there and do it. I've already made this career change. Now let me see if I can do this. And the catalyst was the career change and seeing that I could do it. And then if I can do this career change, then maybe I can own a home. Let me try that. And so that's what got me into it. It's like my parents have done it. All of my siblings have owned homes. They could do it, I can do it.
So were you renting before this?
Yes. Years and years of renting in San Diego, in California, period. If you've ever lived here, you realize the rent, it continues to go up, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'll be 65 years old and am I gonna be homeless? It's like, maybe I gotta try. So I gotta do something different. So
Eric and I got to talk to you a little bit before this interview, and you shared that career change was a part of a lot of big life changes.
Yes, it was.
Do you want to share some of that with our listeners and watchers?
Oh boy. It came off the heels of a relationship. I won't go into all the detail, but I, had to start over. That relationship did not work out, and had been in this career, the graphic design career that I enjoyed, but really wasn't doing enough for me. Got into a relationship, thought that was going to end in marriage, and it did not, and was like, maybe I should do something that I'm afraid of, because the career that I had gone into, the quality support, I started off with doing software language, and I won't go into all the detail, but I started off with learning how to do programming, C++, software language. I started doing that portion and was always intimidated and afraid because I just didn't think I could. And so once that relationship was over, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the plunge. I've got to continue growing and I've got to continue learning. Just because this didn't work out doesn't mean that this part of my life can't work out. So I went to a coding boot camp, learned some stuff, went to this, great government contractor, sold myself, like, I'm excited because I can learn, I want an opportunity to grow. And then from there, it just changed. So I went, I did the school, and then I went into, I took advantage of opportunity, talked to the right people, and just was enthusiastic. And they were like, wow, she has got some energy. Let me give this girl a chance. And it has been wonderful since then. When you're stuck in something and then you finally step out into a different world, it's your eyes open up. It's so exciting. And that's what I have to say about that even though that the relationship part, it hurt, the accomplishment of starting something new and stepping out and doing something that I was afraid of, and then, pretty much doing a good job at it. Honestly, it was a confidence booster. I think
I understand that. I think that there's a lot of people who go through relationships ending or changes.
Yeah.
And it is tapping back into, there is another path, there is something ahead, and that confidence that you can still do things, you can still achieve things, new opportunities, new dreams open.
Yeah. One thing that I want to say too is that what I've learned through all this is that life happens in seasons. It is, sometimes you're at the lowest of the low and you feel like you can't go down any farther, but you keep pressing and you keep digging your way out. You get your shovel, you make a shovel if you got to make a shovel, and you keep stepping up, you dig it, you dig some more, and then you step up on that hill and you dig some more out, and you step up on that hill and you keep digging and you step on that hill. You focus on the next opportunity, not that things didn't work out and it was just so hard. You focus on that next opportunity. It's like, oh, I got some more dirt under me. I'm gonna step up, dig out some more. I got another opportunity. I'm gonna step out, and you keep doing that, and you keep doing that until you get out of that hole. You don't stay there.
Tonja, I see motivational speaking in your future. That may be your next career move, because
You
I love
know,
what you're saying. I have a question. So this breakup led to you being displaced, right? I
Mhm.
mean, uh, you said embracing change, being willing to take on risks. You had to actually go through some things in your
Yeah.
transition ultimately to home ownership. And so if you could speak to that a little bit, and then the fact that you went into a completely different field and went to a coding boot camp. And if I recall, coding boot camps are typically for kids, not for adults. Can you share a little bit about that?
Oh yes, oh yes. It's I ended up first moved in with my sister and her husband. Was there for a while, uh, driving each other nuts. One thing about family, I love my family to death, but we were just like, so I ended up moving back with my parents. And mind you, as an adult, this is kind of difficult. You know, you as an adult, it's like you want to take care of yourself. And that's me. I don't like depending on people. So moved back in with my parents, kind of sucked up the pride, got over the fear of learning something new. I started this coding boot camp. The thing is that you are right. You have these boot camps and normally for kids, but they've actually got a lot of them out there for people who just want to get started in the industry,
Hmm.
in web development and full stack computer language, where you're working on the API and then the front end of software, which is, I know I'm probably speaking some other foreign language to you. But there's a lot of classes and boot camps that they have to do that. But I got over my fear. I got over the thinking that I couldn't do it. Got over the imposter syndrome, which I don't know if you guys have heard of that,
Mhm.
to where people don't think that they can do it. And I just got out there and did it. And once I did it, once I got over that fear and got over my pride of living back with mom and dad, and got over the pride of losing everything, because I lost my furniture. I had like I didn't have anything. I had clothes, jewelry, perfume, stuff like that, things you could travel. And from there, just kept, like I said, you dig out and keep going up. But yeah, it was definitely, it was funny because it was definitely a change. But anything that you can do that's going to bring a catalyst for change for you, you should do.
Tonja, I respect your willingness to take risks and to be humble, go back home with parents, reset. I mean, it takes a lot, and many people aren't willing to make those kinds of sacrifices to change their life. And so they just sit and complain to others and moan
Mhm.
and cry and
Don't
not
do
do
that.
anything about making a difference in their life.
Yeah.
But you realize you had to do that to position yourself to buy a home one day. And
Mhm.
so I want to ask you before Carolyn comes back in, how long did you rent, and what were you paying in rents? I'd like to get an idea of how much money you had invested in others before you made this investment in yourself.
Okay, so before the breakup,
Yes.
it was like, God, that was 2013. I had been in a little apartment before. My rent was $900 because my friend owned the condo, so that was a blessing.
Hmm.
Met my ex-fiance. We moved into a place that was about $1,700 to $1,800 a month, and that was up until um, we moved to Chino Hills, which the place was $1,850. When I came to my sister and then my mom and dad, I didn't pay rent, so that was definitely because I didn't have any money. Couldn't do it anyway. When I finally did move out, God, what were we at? We were at 1,800. It was about 1,800 before I bought it. Now I started renting in what was that, March 2019. Finally moved out of my parents' house March 2019. My rent was 1,850. when I finally moved into my new place, the rent had gone up to $1,900. That current place is about $2,200 now for rent. My bestie still lives there, but yeah, it's about $2,200 in rent now. And you know, they're going up. This is San Diego. Everything's going up and up and up and up and up.
So the period of renting time period, say, what,
It's about
7 years?
Yeah. I mean, considering aside from the stint, I mean, from 1998,
Okay.
yeah, to 2015,
Right.
paying rent, 2016, because this was my ex. And then that was a 2-year break, and then coming back into it again. Yeah, it's been, you know, you pay all this money out in rent for somebody else's vision, basically.
Wow.
Have been doing that for years. And it's just simply because I didn't see myself as even being able to take advantage of the opportunity because I just wasn't making enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent
Yeah.
paying. And now you're paying yourself.
Yep. And building equity and
Yep.
building financial security. And we're going to talk about the difference in your payment versus how much you were paying in rent
Right.
after the break. For those of you just joining us, welcome to this video series, The Journey to Home Ownership from Golden State Finance Authority and the Power is Now Media. Today, we've had the pleasure of speaking with Tonja Daniels of sunny San Diego, who just bought a home. She just bought a condominium down there, and she's been sharing with us her journey to becoming a homeowner. And we're going to get into a little bit more about how much she's paying in her monthly mortgage payment versus what she was paying in rent right after the break. So stay with us. We're going to take a short break. You're watching the Journey to Homeownership series with Golden State Finance Authority. We will be right back.
Is the American dream still possible? Many people are concerned that it is not. Most families believe you need a large down payment. So, saving money to buy a home may take a very long time. Some people think financial assistance is only available for low-income families or first-time homebuyers, or that you have to have perfect credit to get financial assistance to qualify for a home mortgage. Some even think that home ownership is just not possible. Their life circumstances have impacted their credit and income, and they have given up. The Golden State Finance Authority is here for you. Over the last 29 years, we have helped 83,400 Californians and counting. Let us help you. We have 2 programs for the down payment and closing costs that can make your dreams of home ownership come true. The Golden State Finance Authority Open Doors Program and Platinum Program. You can receive up to 7% in down payment and closing cost assistance to purchase a home. The down payment and closing cost assistance may be a 0 interest rate loan, completely forgiven over a 3-year period, or qualify as a gift on day 1. It just depends on the program and your needs. And you do not have to be a first-time homebuyer. Do you own a home now? You may also be able to retain your current home as a rental and buy a new home using down payment and closing cost assistance. Is your credit score low? Needing perfect credit is also not a requirement. Your middle FICO score can be as low as 620 for conventional loans and 660 for government loans. With the Golden State Finance Authority down payment assistance programs, you can purchase a single-family home or even a 2, 3, or 4-unit residence and become a homeowner and generate income on the property too. But you must occupy the property. Low to moderate income home buyers can also apply. Need more income to qualify? Our programs also allow co-signers and co-borrowers to help you qualify for the mortgage. Best of all, you can become a homeowner now instead of later, because the Golden State Finance Authority will provide the money for the down payment. Your opportunity to buy is now. Find the Golden State Finance Authority at gsfahome.org or call 855-740-8422 and get started today. That's gsfahome.org or call 855-740-8422.
And we are back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Journey to Homeownership series with Golden State Finance Authority. I'm your co-host, Carolyn Sunseri, Director of Marketing for Golden State Finance Authority. With me today is also Eric Frazier. He's the president of the Power Is Now Media. He's also a vice president and mortgage advisor with First Bank. This is episode 3 of our series. If you haven't had a chance to catch the other episodes, I encourage you to watch them on our YouTube channel. You can get them on the Power Is Now Media TV platform and also on our websites. We're going to continue this lovely conversation with Tonja Daniels. She's a new homeowner through down payment and closing cost assistance from Golden State Finance Authority. So Tonja,
Yes.
what were some barriers that you had during this process? You've talked about leading up to it, but now you're ready to pursue buying a home. Where did you start? And what did you find out about? Was it going to be super easy, or did you have some barriers and things to overcome?
I had barriers. I had lots of barriers. Bills, just, things, bills that I had accumulated that I need to either pay down or, it was just I had a few little bills. Because I went and talked to a loan officer to see what were my options. And she's like, okay, you got to pay down this, and this is, kind of high and blah, blah, blah. She was car payments, I had student loans, I had a line of credit. I had all these just like little bills and things that I had gotten. Store credit, you got to be careful with store credit because I had a Macy's card. You got to make sure that keep it at a low amount. I had line of credit that I had used heavily when I was lost my job when I was with my ex, and that was just like kind of maxed out. I had a lot of these little bills and stuff that were just up there. I talked to my parents. They had I tried to do this 10 years earlier, they were not in the position to have been able to help me, but they were in the position to help me. So that was something that was a good thing. I had been, because I had done the career change and was making a little bit more money, I was able to take care of some of the other bills that I had. I had been steadily paying stuff down and just being responsible with my money. Being responsible meaning cook at home more. I had already started working things down because I'm like, what, I'd like to do this. So just kind of lowered my expenses. But the biggest thing, my parents were able to help me with one huge bill. And because they were able to help me out with that, I was able to go ahead and take the next step and press in. But the barriers were definitely, it's just the bills. And sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. You don't have to have it all now. If you can't pay cash for it, it's okay to not have it. Sometimes it might be a better idea to just not, you don't need everything. I stopped getting manicures and pedicures. So they're natural.
So you had to make a few sacrifices. I like how you articulated that
Yes.
if you can't afford it, maybe you don't need to get it right now.
You don't need it right now. It's not that important. Exactly. And so paid off, definitely paid off.
I do some personal financial coaching for some of my clients, and it's amazing to see how much money over a month is spent on Starbucks, nails, haircuts, grooming, pet supplies, pet grooming. It's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And I'm glad to hear that you did that kind of review and say, I've got to lower my expenses, and you're willing to make sacrifices, because many people just can't make that connection that with homeownership or the potential of homeownership comes some sacrifice.
And I always tell people too, and I love the idea of having a pet. I've always, I love birds and, would love that idea. But one of the things that I realized a long time ago is that having a pet does make things a lot difficult. They do cost. It's like having a child. You do have to pay for vet care. You do have to pay for their food. You do have to do those things. And I realized with that too, even if I wanted a dog or a cat or, any type of pet, is it going to help me reach my goal? Maybe instead of getting that pet now, maybe I should wait until after I have my home before I make even that investment, because that's a big commitment too. And I know that people see them as family, and they are, but you have to keep in mind that that is another expense that could take away from you being able to have a home. Getting the pet surgery could be $3,000, $3,500, $5,000. You're looking at a lot of money that people have to pay out to keep the pet alive. And there's nothing wrong with that if you don't have any visions or goals here. If you're okay with not having certain things. But I think sometimes there's an order of when you need to do things in your life. And I think people need to take the time to assess that. Maybe I also don't need a pet right now. Maybe I need to wait. If I want to own a home, maybe I need to wait.
So the way that you looked at your finances pretty realistically and saw that some sacrifices would help you or ease up some of those financial responsibilities, so you had more for a mortgage. Where did you get that understanding? Was it in school? Where did you learn, to look at finances a little differently?
Throughout my life, I've had those conversations with people, with financial planners. One of the places that I used to work at, that's something that they talked about. Just that you have to sacrifice sometimes. Watching my parents, you got to sacrifice sometimes. Anybody that I know that has ever, when they go to purchase a home, it's like, okay, so we can't do this. Oh, we're trying to save up for this. So I think I was able to put 2 and 2 together. And then considering, I'm not 20 years old, so there's a lot of experiences that you see in your life, and it's like, okay, I do have to make these sacrifices. I have to say no sometimes,
When Eric and I talked to you earlier, you talked a little bit about your family and how they were contributed to that philosophy of sometimes you have a bit more and you live a little freer, and sometimes you have to tighten those purse strings.
Yeah.
Do you want to say a little bit about their influence maybe on some of this?
Yeah. My parents, I'll tell you the hippie story from when my parents moved here to California. My parents wanted to start investing in property. And I remember them talking about this. I was probably like 9, 10, 11. And they wanted to start investing in property. So they bought a property, a second property in Ohio when we lived there. And I remember those times that we didn't have enough. My parents got creative in like the groceries, right? So we would, have the big grocery purchase that paycheck comes, everybody's happy. Ooh, we're going to buy this. And we've got like all this wonderful food at the end of the month, dealing with my 13-year-old brother at the time who, boys eat. He was inhaling the refrigerator, just all of it.
Yeah.
Bowls, it couldn't have like a small bowl of cereal. He would get the mixing bowl, pour it in there with the milk, eat it all up because he was just hungry. So, we were blowing through food. And I remember my parents just being creative with the cooking. My mom we would take advantage of like, they call it the government cheese because, back in the day, they used to come around and they'd give away cheese and milk and, we would take advantage of that. But I just remember, we had potatoes and my sister would dice them up and my mom would be like, okay, we're going to do this. And it would be really good. And so I looked at that as like, just because we don't have like a ton of stuff, it doesn't mean you can't use everything in your pantry. Be creative. Sometimes you get used to those leftovers. And my parents, taught me how to appreciate the leftovers, because it was like, oh, mommy, that's from yesterday. I don't want to eat that. And she's like, girl, it's better the second day around. And then you get used to it. And it's like, man, all the spices kind of sink into it. So I started getting excited about leftovers. My other friends were like, oh, we want it fresh every day. And I was like, God, yesterday was good, but today it's better. So, you get used to that. And then, just watching my mom, she didn't we weren't the McDonald's family. We wouldn't always go out to do fast food. My mom was like, we're going to make burgers. Those things were handmade. And I'm telling you, homemade burgers are better than any burger that you can get at the store or at McDonald's or any of these other restaurants. So much better. And my parents were masters at doing that. My parents were great cooks. I love food because of them, They were creative. They were creative in the meals that they prepared for us, especially the times that we were lean.
Yeah, and in the years that I was going to school, past high school, is like cooking was a really big part of staying on a budget. Was being able to bring home those staple foods and be creative and cook. Saved me a lot of money. So I agree with you. It's great to eat out once in a while, but if you do want to set aside money, cutting out the extraneous eating out, having Starbucks, those things are definitely going to help.
Yep. And my parents, they were masters at that. And even our trip to, coming out here, they gave away everything. We came out with the clothes on our backs. 5 technically adults were in the car, in a van, drove from Cleveland to California, and just started over from scratch. That was a fun trip.
Do you think that they're starting over from scratch and you living through that helped you with that fear of starting over? Do you think that was a part of getting over that fear?
It was, because at the job that I was at before, everything changed, I gotten really comfortable. I got really comfortable in my skill set. I got really comfortable, and I didn't have my home, the things that I wanted, but I was like, oh, you know what, I'm comfortable. My parents, when they wanted to do something, they did it. They did it with reckless abandon, and they planned that trip from Cleveland to California. We owned a home. My parents were here for 1 week in 1983, fell in love with San Diego, pulled equity out of their home in Ohio. By day 5, and we're on the plane, they had already put in an offer, already pulled equity from their home. And we had a house when we came out here 2 years later. My parents, they were going to do this, but getting over that fear, that was a really good lesson to me, to watch them go through that and to watch them work together and plan and make it happen. They weren't afraid. Actually, that's a lie. They were afraid, but they did it anyway.
Maybe that's more impactful. You have the fear and you push through it.
Yeah, just watching them push through the fear of, this is a completely different place and we're going to change. And instead of looking at it as, oh, we're afraid and we can't do anything, my parents were like, okay, there's something to learn here. This is going to be exciting. We're in a new place, and we don't have jobs yet, which they got jobs within like 3 weeks of us moving to California. They made it happen, but they did it, afraid and everything, and enjoying every minute.
So they must have taken a lot of pleasure from watching you do the same. Take a hold of your life, make some changes to reach your goals.
Yep, they are definitely proud.
So Tonja, this has been a great story. Thank you for sharing it. You had a relationship end. You started over. You realized that you needed some help from the family. That was probably a very hard thing to go through. And then you said, I'm going to need to make a change in my finances if I want to move into becoming a homeowner. And you did a little career change. And you know what I really liked about that, by the way, is you didn't end up going back to school for 4 years. You made a shift that gave you additional skill sets, and that made you marketable in a new field. I think sometimes we feel like we have to completely change our career or go back to school, but you just looked at it like, what do I need to do in order to increase my value and potential and increase my income? So with that being said, let's talk about this home that you actually bought.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about it. What is it? Is it a single family residence? How big is it? Do you remember how much it was when you bought it?
I purchased a beautiful condo in sunny San Diego, 1 bedroom, 870 square feet. Got it for a steal at 310. For I think for most people, they're like, oh my gosh, but that's actually low for San Diego. Yeah, it's one of the few places that I was able to find to have all the things that I want. It has washer, dryer, all the things that I was looking for. Yeah, just, it was everything I wanted. It was in the neighborhood I wanted. Location was very important to me. I'm close to the beach. I love to go run, or at least I was running for a little bit until my knees kind of were acting up. That's another story. So yeah, close enough to the beach, really close to downtown. Get to see the fireworks pretty much every night if I want to, from SeaWorld. So, you know, it's just, it ended up being the perfect place. It felt like home when I walked in it. Felt like home.
So did you have any of your own cash money set aside to put towards the down payment and closing costs involved?
I had like $3,000 that I could put down to it. It wasn't a whole lot. My parents kicked in a little bit additional for down payment assistance. And honestly, it was looking pretty touch and go there at first, but I'd saved up as much as I could put together. And like I said, my parents kind of helped me out with a little bit. And then, you know, my loan officer was just very, very knowledgeable, because originally when we started the process, we were going to go with a completely different government program. And it was right around the pandemic when everything closed down. And she goes, you know, we're not able to get you this loan, but we actually are getting you this loan, and this program is still available. And she goes, it's going to be a better interest rate. So it actually ended up being a lot better than it would have if I would have bought the year before under that other program.
And so she was the one that told you that there was additional assistance or help available to help with the money that's involved in buying a home.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of low down payment programs where you can buy a home with as little as 3 or 3.5%. You went with a conventional loan, which only required 3% down payment. That was about $10,000. But then you had additional 2.5% or so closing costs, which is another $8,000 to $10,000. So there's quite a financial obligation when you go to buy a home. It's not just making that mortgage payment.
Right.
Here you are looking at, you know, around $20-some thousand. You had a little bit saved, your family's helped you with a little bit, and then you have this gap. And so
yeah,
loan officer was the one that told you about this program. What did she tell you about it? And then do you remember what kind of assistance you ended up getting?
Okay, I don't remember all the numbers and everything that happened as far as what she told me, because I was God, I was so excited. But yeah, she's like, you know, we can't get you the loan that we were getting you before. The loan before was at 4.25%, which, though it's good, it was kind of scary because it was like, okay, your payment's going to be this much. I was like, okay. When she came back, it had to be about 2 or 3 weeks later. She's like, we're able to get you into this loan. And she listed everything. And I was just, okay, mind you, my little head was just like going. So everything that was said, I don't remember it all. But she's like, okay, we actually got you a better deal. we've got this down payment assistance program that's going on. And so we're going to be able to help you this way, where it's actually going to be better. That's what she was saying. So I was just like, okay, this is happening. You know, it was just real exciting. So it was pretty amazing.
I think it's a great point to make. When you're buying your first homes, it's very overwhelming. I remember that if you asked me how much it was and how much I paid in down payment, I wouldn't remember either.
Exactly.
You ended up going through our platinum program.
Okay.
For our watchers, our listeners, GSFA Platinum offers a down payment and closing cost assistance up to 5% of the loan amount. It's money used to cover the down and to cover some of the closing costs as well. It can definitely bridge that affordability gap so people can come in with little to no money out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
So you ended up getting a second loan through our program, and it's forgivable. Do you remember her telling you that?
Yes.
That after 3 years, all of the money, the $15,000 that you got in assistance to put towards your down and your closing costs is completely forgiven after 36 months of you being a homeowner.
Yeah. I won the golden ticket. I was like, really? It goes away after 3 years? I was just, yeah. I remember her saying that goes away. And it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. This is awesome. God bless those people, whoever they are, you know.
And do you have any idea how much your house has gone up? You bought it April of 2020 or so, right? Around April?
It closed May the 4th, 2020. I told you I paid $310 for it, got it for a deal. I won't even go into my real estate agent, but she's a rock star as far as I'm concerned, because she was just amazing. But the last one sold for between $440 and $460, 1 bedroom, same size as mine, downstairs.
That's wonderful. 2 years, you're 2 years in, and it's already gone up $130-some thousand you estimate. And it was $15,000 that was provided to you. And you have 1 more year and it's completely forgiven.
Completely forgiven. And the thing that blows my mind so much, and this is what my mom and my brother and everybody's telling me, when you don't at least get your foot in the door. So it's important for people to remember, you have to get your foot in the door, buy something, pick a good neighborhood, because location is going to make a difference. Pick a good neighborhood, get in there, get in the hole in the wall, the one that maybe isn't as beautiful, hold on to it for a little bit of time, because there's no way that I was ever going to come up with a down payment on my own before you guys. There's no way. Now, if I were to sell today, I would have $100,000, $130,000 that I could take and use down on something else. So I think people have to keep that in mind. Just because it's maybe a little bit difficult, press in, do it. Take the opportunity. Yep.
Absolutely. It's a part of building that financial security. You've got to take that first step. You've got to get started. Eric and I are talking to people about that all the time. Home prices across the nation are going to continue to increase. That is just the industry of real estate. We've had one big downturn, which was around 2008 and 2009. Took a couple of years, but those home prices came back up and have exceeded since. We're not going to see housing, go back to the prices in the 30s and 40s and 50s. It's not going to happen. Sooner that you get into buying a home, sooner you get into owning a home, the sooner that you will start to see the benefits of that. And one of those biggest benefits is you're paying yourself, right? You're paying off this debt instead of to a renter. So do you remember what the payment is? What's your payment, what right now, so we can compare to the rents you were paying?
Okay, so my payment right now, it's a little bit more than what I was paying before, but rents have gone up. So my payment right now, it's $1,920, like $1,920, $1,925, which, considering that for this size, it's about 22 to 2,500, 3,000 in some neighborhoods in San Diego, which without any green space, you're paying $3,000 for a condo is pretty crazy. But that's what's happening. And it's going to continue going up and continue going up. Whereas mine, if in a few years the interest rate goes down and I've already paid into the principal, I can refinance and bring that rate down.
Right. It's not going to go up. You're locked in a fixed interest rate, right? You're not going to be going through rental changes. I know when you were renting at the very end there, you were renting around $1,877.
Right.
But it was about to increase to around 1940 or so.
Yeah, 1950. I want to say it was gonna go back up. And the thing is that, I mean, there's the part of the equity thing, because I was going to be paying that to somebody else's vision. I'm now paying it to my own vision. This is my space. This is my vision. So, that's much better. And not to mention, like I said, if I ever go to sell my own place, I'm going to have the equity from here. Whereas if I'm renting, there's no equity in that. There's no benefit to me in that. There's no increase in that.
Tonja, I am really impressed by everything you're saying. It seems like the agent prepared you and your parents have prepared you to really look at things for what they are right now. And that is you having to get in where you fit in, get your foot in the door. And man, did you pick the right time to do it, being able to acquire that property at that time for $310,000. Today is worth $460,000. Having the equity in such a short 2 years, a short period of time, and it's just going to continue to go up from there. And so to Carolyn's point, though, that property values are going to continue to rise. And there's nothing that no one can do about it. And the primary driver of these increased prices is supply. There's simply not enough supply to meet the demand. And the demand is not going anywhere. Every year, there are new family formations happening. Mm-hmm. California is growing at about 1% a year. We're 40 million strong. So the economy may go up and down, interest rates may go up and down, but Californians are going to keep having babies. New family formation is going to happen, and there's simply not enough land to accommodate, home ownership for everyone, and there are not enough builders building enough properties to help kind of mitigate this the price increases because of the lack of supply. There's just simply not enough happening. And to make it all worse, we've enjoyed now almost 15 years of low interest rates, and it appears that that party is completely over. Interest rates are starting to rise. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't just a few months ago on the Golden State program, you could get down payment assistance for under 4%, and now we're at 5 and 6%, and it will continue to rise. Wow. So I take my hat off to you for being just humble enough to just get in where you fit in. In addition to being the president of the Power Is Now Media, I'm also a mortgage advisor with First Bank. My license number is 461807. I have completed a number of pre-approved applications for people where their interest rates were in the 3 and 4% range, and now they're in the high 5s and low 6s, and they no longer qualify for the loans they were pre-approved for. Many people, because property values have gone up, have been completely priced out of the areas they wanted to buy. So now is the time to buy, and you are extremely fortunate to have gotten in where you gotten in, and you should probably never sell this condo, to be honest with you, because it'll be a great rental property, and you're in destination San Diego, as well as access the money to refinancing later to acquire maybe another property and keep building wealth through owning real estate.
Yes, I'm in complete agreement. I think that people just need to get started today. For 29 years, Golden State Finance Authority has been providing these affordable housing programs here in California, mostly to help people with that down payment and closing cost assistance. We've been able to help over 84,000 people purchase homes in the last 2 decades, and we've provided over $640 million in down payment assistance. If you are considering buying a home, it is the time to get started. Reach out to Eric with First Bank, any of our participating lenders, and find out what your individual situation is, and take a look at whether or not you can get started today on your journey to homeownership. So Tonja, as we close out today's interview, tell our listeners and watchers what strategies you think people can take advantage of to purchase real estate.
Well, the first one would be get your finances in order. Cut back. If it's 5 days a week that you're getting Starbucks, do it maybe once a week or twice a month. If you eat out all the time for lunch and dinner, breakfast, stop doing it. Set yourself up a pattern that you can save money that way. Maybe you need to plan a little bit more. Again, if you see something that you want that's at the store that you're like, man, I could really use that. Really assess why is it that you want to get that, and maybe put it off until later. For anything that you do, just when it comes to career, I would say this as well. I made a career change. So life happens in seasons. And so what you have to do is you have to prepare yourself for each season in life. So if that means that you have to upskill, that means you have to prepare yourself, take advantage today of every opportunity that you have. So that when the opportunities happen, like it did for me, I was just at the right place at the right time in my life, and I was able to strike while the iron is hot. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you are ready for that opportunity. And if that's an update in your education, if that's a career change, whatever that is, you make that happen, and always be in the process of learning and making those things happen so that when the opportunities come to pass, that you can take advantage of them.
Thank you so much. I think it's very motivational to hear your story. It is about taking action. So for our watchers, for our listeners, if you have financial challenges, you think maybe I can't afford to buy a home, don't self-diagnose your situation. Reach out to Golden State Finance Authority. Reach out to one of our participating lenders. And you can call us at our toll-free number, 855-740-8422. You can visit our website, gsfahome.org. Talk to one of our participating lenders. Find out if you too can become a home buyer with the down payment and closing cost assistance from Golden State Finance Authority.
The Power is Now is committed to homeownership education and information. We are the resource for anyone looking to buy or sell or refinance. Just get the information so that when you sit down with your mortgage advisor or your real estate professional, you have the tools, you have some background information, you can know what to expect. We need more lenders, more banks participating with the Golden State Finance Authority and other organizations like the Golden State, so that more people are aware that down payment assistance existed, that it exists. Tonja didn't even know. Her agent, thank God, her agent brought it to her attention, where she then learned, and as a result of that, $15,000 of money she never has to pay back again. And so I certainly hope that those of you who are watching this series, Journey to Homeownership with the Golden State Finance Authority, that if you are a real estate professional, that you will let your clients know about this option. If you are a lender, regardless of where you are in the state of California, talk to your manager, talk to your company officials about getting set up with the Golden State Finance Authority so that you can provide their product to your clients. The Golden State Finance Authority is a game changer for many people. Carolyn mentioned thousands of people have benefited from this program, and Tonja is just one of them. We're going to be bringing more stories just like this on the journey to homeownership with the Golden State Finance Authority. You can watch it on our mobile app. Go to the Power Is Now TV. Power Is Now TV on your Android or iPhone. Download the mobile app. Watch the entire series of other participants that will be a part of this Journey to Homeownership series, as well as the Affordable Housing series, which part 5 is coming soon. Thank you, Tonja, for taking time out of your schedule to share your story. Remember, folks, we are at our best and we maximize our success when we act now. The power is now. Thank you for watching The Journey to Homeownership with the Golden State Finance Authority.
The Power Is Now Media is worldwide with growing audience of future homebuyers, investors, builders, developers, real estate agents, and brokers. The Power Is Now Media is well positioned to increase awareness and produce results for our growing roster of advertising partners. An advertisement on any of our platforms is the right step toward reaching and communicating key brand messages to a targeted network of individuals, families, and communities interested in housing. Our content areas include feature stories and profiles on successful real estate agents, business owners, government, and community leaders. The Power Is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small homeownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources, and tools through PIN, real estate, and programming guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate and mortgage news and information from industry experts. VIP agents are able to feature listings each week. The Power Is Now TV radio podcast features weekly shows that include Homebuyers Town Hall, Real Estate Roundtable, VIP Agent Spotlight, and so much more. Each week, VIP agents have opportunities to be featured guests on the shows. VIP agents can discuss and showcase houses, neighborhoods, and provide brief introduction. The interviews are unlimited 10 to 15 minutes on each current listing. This product alone separates you from your competition. The Power Is Now delivers to you market update interview to promote listing weekly, promotional biographical video, co-host a bi-monthly Homebuyers Town Hall show, featured subject matter expert on Real Estate Roundtable show, The Power Is Now Program Guide e-magazine, The Power Is Now National e-magazine, article writing and blogging, social media content customization, inclusion and press releases, graphic design services, business and performance coaching, technology support, referrals, lead generation opportunities, and management support.